few who aren't with us, but that's a super turnout. Thank you very much. So the purpose of this lesson is really just a catch up, because I appreciate some of you have been in school. Okay, so what there is really to do on your to-do list, first of all, I want you to get a good mark on the inverse or direct proportion. Now, if you didn't attend yesterday's lesson, then you don't know how to do inverse proportion. Now, I obviously recorded yesterday's lesson, and so it's there in Teams anyway. When you just scroll up, you'll see it recorded from yesterday. But what I've also done, I've just gone 5 minutes ago and posted on Posts a link taking you through to the recording on YouTube. So if you've missed yesterday's lesson, and I think you need to watch the recording before you try the Dr. Frost maths exercise on direct and inverse proportion, not to do the direct stuff, and that's just common sense, and you've been doing that since year 7, but just to understand what's going on with inverse proportion. So I'm not planning on running through that again now, because that's just boring for those who've already done the exercise and attended the lesson. But if I was running through with it now, I'd only be repeating what I did in yesterday's lesson. So you might as well just watch the recording. As you do the questions, I'll be keeping an eye on Dr. Frost. So if you're getting them wrong, I'll try and dip in and help you. So just with a quick reflection on who's where on that. So yeah, this is the Dr. Frost from, I'm sure none of you mind seeing each other's results. So Ebs, you're done and dusted. Vinay, if you could just finish it off, that would be great. Daisy, well done, you're done and dusted. Hannah, if you could just finish it off. Ben, Caitlin, you're nicely done. Ivy, as long as you know what went wrong with number 4, I'll leave it to you whether you want to go back and correct that, or whether you want to move on to the other exercise. That's up to you. George, if you could just have a go at the 3 you got wrong, that'd be good. Nina, perfect. Poppy, yeah, you started it. So yeah, Poppy, in a way, I think I'd rather you went and completed that before you move on to the past paper. Okay. So so I do want us to be prioritising the direct and inverse proportion, because that's on the syllabus for that's on our scheme of work for 4th form. So it's important that you get pretty much all of those right. I'm not worried if it's taken you more than 1 attempt. All right, it's a homework. It wasn't an assessment. It wasn't a test. So Poppy, if you wouldn't mind just doing that before you carry on with the past paper, that would be good. Emily's just made a start. Alex, you're done and dusted. Josh, again, it'd be good if you could go back and just correct the one you got wrong. I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine. Maddie, you haven't started yet. Ella, perfect, well done. Ollie, obviously perfect. Oh, you might be the first one to actually get 8 out of 8 on the first attempt. We haven't had anyone getting 101% yet. I think even our mighty stars made the odd slip before they got 8 out of 8. Olivia, you're done and dusted. Raoul, if you could just finish off. Emma, well done. You're 8 out of 8.
I just did it.
Oh, lovely. Okay, yeah, this isn't bang up to date. So yeah, this was well, it's pretty up to date. You must have done in the last few minutes. So well done. Tracy, you haven't started it yet. So Maddie and Tracy to start that. Tracy, if you are there, I don't think you've actually logged into Dr. Frost yet. So if you are struggling with that, please let me know. So I want that done first, please. And then after that, really just for a bit of fun. Excuse me. Just been taking the dog for a walk. I think I've got a bit of hay fever. If once you've done that, once you've got 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 8, I want you to move on to the past paper, this IGCSE thing. This is just a bit of fun. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do all the questions because we've got a number of topics that we've left over until 5th form. But I just think it's brilliant that Dr. Frost actually has the real life old papers on it. It just makes it excellent that he's gone to the effort of breaking that all down. So I just thought it would be a bit of fun. So you can actually go and see, if you took your GCSE today, what you would get. So once you've all had a go at that, I'll tell you what the grade boundaries were, and you can go and see how you got on. So at the moment, Caitlin, you've been an absolute star. You've made a really good start on that. So Caitlin's well on the way. Just waiting for it to load. There we go. So yeah, I mean, just so you understand what he's done, and it's excellent. He's broken each of the questions down into sub-questions. So his questions 1, 2, 1 and 2 are question 1 in the paper, 1A and 1B. So he's breaking it down, which is excellent. So I don't know how many questions there are in total. It must be bucket 42. So, but in the actual GCSE, there's about 21 questions, but they obviously break down into part 1s and part 2s. So, so I just thought that would be a fun thing for us to do as we sort of start to wind down. I'm not a great believer in us having fun lessons for a week. I just think that's a bit boring. I mean, we'll do something a bit different the very last lesson. So, but I want it to be different. I want it just not to be the usual thing. And I think actually just to be working through a past paper is good fun. It's good revision, and it's very motivating, hopefully for you. If you think, oh blimey, this isn't too bad, and you can see what grade you'd have got already, and then we just need to improve on that in fifth form. One other thing to mention, I forget if I've mentioned it already or not. I think I have. The idea is at the moment that fourth form and lower sixth, excuse me, when we go back in September, touch wood, we'll be taking an assessment test a couple of weeks in. So it won't be straight away. We'll let you get back in and find your feet. I'm keen that we do the same test as set 2, not for any possible set movements. That's not going to happen. All right. Even if you get 0, you're not going to be going down to set 2. But it's just quite nice for us just to compare and contrast and see what gaps we might have had in our teaching. I might have missed a bit, Mrs. Miskin might have missed a bit, or what have you. So I think it's quite nice that we do the same test. So I will be sending on Friday, I will give you the revision list. I only mention it today just in case some of your friends in set 2 so they've had it already. What it is, it's just an extract from the scheme of work. But we've taken out the topics that set 2 haven't done. So we're a bit further ahead. So that inverse and direct proportions not on it. I think Mrs. Miskin's hoping to finish vectors by the end of term. And then also where we've spent time completely doing the scheme of work, we've done like probability and revised two-way tables and all of that. Mrs. Miskin didn't really have time for that. So you'll see that's also missing from the list of topics that could be tested. And when I send that to you, in fact, you know what, I think I might send it to you in a minute, so just in case I forget, I'll send it through. But it's not for you to have to do anything particularly. I think it would be more fun for you to be revising everything than just revising that limited number of topics. But what I have done, I've gone and included on the right a link through to the Hegarty videos, which I think relate to the topics. So if you want to revise for that assessment, that I don't know, what is it, sort of assessment test, if you like, when we get back. Obviously, a lot of those, the later Hegartys, so the ones that we did since we were in lockdown, we've already done. So you'll probably find you've done all of those. But some of the earlier ones we didn't do in lockdown because it was before it was before lockdown, so we haven't necessarily done the Hegartys for it. So it might just give you a few more Hegartys that you want to do. But if you want, okay, there's no set work for the summer holidays. You're absolutely welcome to do nothing. But just in case you wanted to keep things ticking over, I thought cross-referencing the topics that might come up in the test to Hegarty tasks would be quite a nice way of doing it. But as I said, I think in a way, we're top set. We should look at the bigger picture. Let's just try and revise everything. So I think just doing some past papers, you'll find really motivating, hopefully. And certainly, I hope Caitlin is with 32 out of 33 correct so far. That's a blooming good start. Right, okay, I will leave you to get on with it. So in short, please make sure you get a good mark on the Dr. Frost inverse and direct proportion before you move on to the IGCSE past paper. Okay, cheers guys, bye. Any questions, just ask now. Okay, bye then guys.